All right, I got another idea. I was gonna share it. All right, it's coming out now. Bye. Well, I'm not really saying what you should do. Just giving you ideas. These are ideas, and I do this for fun because I just think it's fun. Let's say you're gonna buy a new car and you're gonna spend about 50 grand on it, right? Let's say you want to invest that money instead of buying the car, so you have the cash still with you, right? So you put $0 down, no monthly contribution to the investment, 7 years of time. The interest rate. There's some in the market out there, people getting 50%. It's crazy. Let's say what you would get with that if you did that for 5 years and reinvested it and compounded it annually. You'd have $800,000 in 7 years by the time you pay that car off. That's 50 grand. That is crazy. You'd see here in the first year, if you're getting 50% per year, you'd have 50K, then 75K, then 112, 168, 253, 379, 569, 854. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. So moving forward, let's say you put that 50 grand in the bank, and in that 1 year, see how much money you're making if you're going to 50%, right? So in 1 year, if you invested all that, I already know the math, but I'm gonna do it here just to show you anyway, right? 1 year, you'd have $75,000. The 50 plus 50% of 50, which is 25. Oh, sorry, I clicked on something wrong. Okay, 50 plus the 50, half of it, right? So you're gonna have $75,000 in total, but you gained $25,000 in 1 year. Now let's do some other math. Let's say you had that $25,000 that came in 1 year. If you divide that by 12 and you got in cash flow, you have $2,000 a month. If that's not enough to pay your car, I mean, for most people in America, that's doggone enough to pay your freaking car. This is something you should maybe think about. All right, so I went and looked up the average auto rates in 2023. And if you have the best credit score, you're like around 5%. If you have the worst, horrendous, most horrible credit score, you're like 14, 15%. So if we think about that, where you might be in the middle, let's just say we're going to say 10%, right? That's in between, not the 14, 15, but it's not as low as the 5. Let's say you're in the middle, right? So 10%, we're going to do some more math with that. Let's say you take the 50 grand and you're going to pay it back on the loan in 5 years. And we take the 10% example, right? So times 1.10 gives you 10% more. It's 5,500. If you divide that by the total that you're going to pay in months, the 60 months, then you're going to get your monthly payment, approximately 900 and something dollars, 916, 920. Okay, so we got that. Now, in our previous example, if everything goes well with the investments, you're going to bring in about $2,000 a month. So you'd have more than enough to make your monthly car payment. Now, let's just say I'm half wrong, right? Let's say instead of 50% gains, you only get 25% gains. You're still going to get $12,500 in a year. You divide that by 12, you're still getting $1,000 a month, which is still more than the 916 that you're going to have to pay for your monthly car payment for your car. But guess what? You still have the 50K invested. This to me is just crazy why people don't think and consider ways they can find ways to invest to create passive income to pay for the things in their life instead of just shelling out all their money. Because if you put 50 grand into something and it's gone, then it's gone. You don't have the 50 grand if you need it. Now, let's look at some other math here. We're going to break down some other stuff. If I were to take, let's say your investments go down. Let's say your investments go down 20%, right? So at the end of the year, you only have 40 grand instead of 50 grand, right? You can still sell all your shares and take the 40 grand and pay off the rest of your car loan and then have barely anything left to pay if you feel unsafe at that point, right? But if you still have those shares, you're still going to get the payments that the shares are going to pay you because you get paid per share, not paid for the value of all the shares. Now for a real life example, this is Clip, KLIP. They invest in covered call strategy in China, companies in China. Either way, we'll see at the beginning of the year, they were around $25 per share, right? In January, that's about when they started. And over time, they're now down to, let's say, about $17 per share. So they've actually gone down over time. But we're going to do some examples and play with some math and see where this goes. Quick math here. It's at $17 per share now, divided by the 25 it was before. That's 0.68. So subtract 1 from that is 0.32. We have 32% loss. If you have $50,000 and we only have a 32% loss, that's $16,000. So if we subtract the $16,000 from the $50,000, we then have $34,000 in total value at this current time. Quick math of it is if we spent the $50,000 to buy shares at $25 a piece, we would have 2,000 shares. If we look at the distribution history for Clip and we see what they've been paying since January, I took the liberty to add up the total of all of these dividend amounts from January to September. And when you add them all together, it comes to about $790 and some change, $793. All right. So if we had the $793 times the 2,000 shares, we've earned $15,860 so far this year. If we divide that by the 9 months now up to September, that's approximately $1,700 per month that's been earned from this fund. If we take the current value of Clip at $17 roundabout times our 2,000 shares, we have $34,000 worth of value in this fund. This is making the calculation at the current price. If we add the 15,000 plus that 34, we're at about 49, almost $50,000. So almost break even in total amount of value from what we received and what we put in from the beginning of the year. Now, this example isn't calculating different risks that could happen. Bad things can always happen in life that could change the trajectory of this potential situation. But how I think of it is, if I paid for a car, I'm not getting paid for that car. That car is actually going down in value as I have it over time. If I invested the money and took a loan for the car and the yield of my investment exceed the interest rate I pay on my car, then I'm getting paid to have my car. Because in the first example, we're pulling in more than what the car payment was per month. And even if things went halfway sour, we got half the yield, we'd still have enough to cover the car payment. And the joy of that is, once the car is paid off, you're still going to continue receiving that payment as long as you still have those shares of whatever fund you decide to invest in. So the benefit of it is you could purchase the vehicle you want, have it paid for through your investments, and when the investments are done paying for the loan of the vehicle, you still have the investments and still keep getting paid. I mean, for me, that is a win-win-win.